This is the story of a can't-miss prospect. A quarterback with so much talent, with such massive expectations, that his partnership with a team felt absolutely destined for greatness. But after 7 years, that promise was officially broken.
And there it is. It's official. On March 3rd, 2026, after 7 really turbulent seasons, the Arizona Cardinals released their star quarterback, Kyler Murray. The era that started with so much hope, it's now definitively over. And that's the big question, isn't it? I mean, how does a generational talent, a former #1 overall pick, end up right here? What on earth led to such a dramatic breakup? All right, let's get into it. To really understand how it all ended, we have to go back to the beginning. And let me tell you, in the beginning, there was nothing but pure excitement and just incredible optimism. I mean, this slide really tells you everything you need to know about the kind of winner Kyler Murray was before he ever stepped on an NFL field. Just think about it for a second. The guy was undefeated in high school. He lost only 3 games total through his time at Texas A&M and Oklahoma. This is the resume of a born winner, capping it off with a Heisman and being the no doubt about it #1 pick. And those expectations, they were just through the roof. Why? Because he was joining a coach, Cliff Kingsbury, who ran an offense Murray had known since he was in the 8th grade. Seriously, it looked like the most perfect, can't-miss pairing you could possibly imagine.
But, the NFL, it's a whole different animal. And Murray's 7 seasons in Arizona, well, they became this frustrating mix of absolutely spectacular individual plays and, well, crushing team disappointment. So, what's this 5 all about? Well, it represents an incredibly exclusive club. Kyler Murray is one of only 5 players in the entire history of the NFL to throw for over 20,000 yards and rush for over 3,000 in their first 7 seasons. That is truly elite company. And just look at these numbers. They really show you just how dynamic he was. 2 Pro Bowls, over 120 touchdowns through the air, and another 32 on the ground. The man was a walking highlight reel, a true dual-threat weapon that defenses just had no answer for. But this slide right here shows the core conflict of his entire time in Arizona. On one side, you have that undeniable individual brilliance, and on the other, the harsh team reality. A losing record, 38 wins, 48 losses. This is the disconnect that really defined his whole tenure.
And maybe no number tells that story of team reality better than this one. 1. In 7 full seasons, Kyler Murray made just a single playoff appearance, and it ended in a wild-card loss. For a #1 pick with his kind of talent, that is a stunningly low number. And it's also so important to remember that his availability became a huge problem. I mean, after playing every single game in his first 2 years, his final 5 seasons were just riddled with significant injuries. A torn ACL, a foot injury, stuff that kept him off the field right when his team needed him the most. Okay, so with all the on-field struggles kind of as the backdrop, let's talk about the business side. Because at the end of the day, this breakup was triggered by the cold, hard reality of an NFL contract. This is the number that forced the decision. $36.8 million. That was the guaranteed salary Kyler Murray was owed for the 2026 season, and that became the financial tipping point for the Cardinals. And the pressure was really mounting. If he was still on that roster just a few days later, on March 16th, boom, another $19.5 million for 2027 would have been guaranteed. The Cardinals were up against the clock, and they had to make a choice fast. But, beyond all the numbers, there's the human element here. Shortly after the news broke, Murray posted this on X. "I wanted nothing more than to be the one to end the 77-year drought for this organization. I'm sorry I failed us." Wow. You can really just feel the weight of that disappointment in his words. So, with the partnership officially done, what does the future hold for both Kyler Murray and for the Arizona Cardinals? So yeah, it's a clean break, and 2 paths are now splitting off. Kyler Murray becomes one of the most fascinating free agents on the market. He can sign with any team. And meanwhile, the Cardinals, they're basically back at square one, starting the search for their next guy. And here's a little bit of intrigue to add to the whole mix. Sources are saying that Murray already has his eye on 2 specific teams he'd like to join. So he's not just sitting by the phone waiting. He's actively looking ahead to whatever that next chapter is. Which leaves us with this one big, lingering question. At just 28 years old, he has so much football ahead of him, so will he find the right situation and finally build that winning legacy, or will his story just end up being a warning, a cautionary tale about the gap between incredible promise and the ultimate reality? I guess only time will tell.